guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a reading wrap up. This month I read a lot of books. Like, I don't even know when I had the time to read all these books, but I was really going ham. Without further ado, let's get into what I read in April. I read 11 books. Started out with One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is a fantasy novel. As we know, I don't really read a lot of fantasy, so pretty shocking that I started out the month with a fantasy. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the characters and the world building in this story. This book follows a girl in this town. If you are infected, you are basically killed off. They do not want any infected people. Things start happening. She meets this guy and a relationship starts to form with them. I enjoyed the fantasy aspect of this because I found it interesting, like keeping the secret. And also there was like magical cards that took place in this story. And I don't know why, but that really intrigued me. I liked the card aspect. I liked the aspect of getting certain powers. I really liked the writing. I think this author is amazing, and I'm super excited to get into the second book when I'm in the mood for a fantasy again. This is like a 3.5 to a 4-star range. Someone recently asked me like fantasy recommendations, and I recommended this book to them because it was really fun and I really had a good time. And I think it's relatively easy if you're looking to get into fantasy, which is typically what I read. I typically read easy fantasies because I'm not a fantasy person at all. That's the first book I read. The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is a hockey romance. This follows Rory and Hazel works for a hockey team. She's like the physiotherapist, I think. They decide to fake date because her ex-boyfriend joins the team that she's the physiotherapist for, and they want to make him jealous. Low-key, he's been in love with her since they knew each other in high school. So he's like, oh, I'll fake date you, I guess. And he's like, oh my god, like I'm in love with her. Like, you do get what I'm saying? Seeing his point of view where he just notices everything about her and is like, I've loved her since high school. I've noticed all these things. I'm gonna do all these small acts for her. Oh, I could throw up. Oh, okay, so I'm lonely and gonna die alone. What? I specifically remember so many things that he did for her. Like, I don't know why, but they're stuck in my brain because they were so meaningful. Love this series so much. If you're looking for a hockey romance, this is the one for you. I would give this one a 4.25. Feeling very strongly about that 4.25. It's so amazing. Next, we're gonna move a little darker. The Predator by Runix. So I have been wanting to read this series for a long time, and safe to say I'm obsessed. I really enjoyed this book. I feel like this author is very descriptive, and although I did love a lot of the descriptions because it really added to the tension of the scenes, because this is an enemies to lovers mafia dark romance book, so they literally hate each other and want to kill each other, and I'm like, oh my god, y'all are so cute. Oh my god, y'all are so cute when you fight like that. They want to murder each other. You can see how much he doesn't want to kill her. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he really shows signs of being like, I low-key like you. I loved her. She was a badass. If that were me, like, I would be in the fetal position and you would not hear from me for like 2 months. She was raised in the mafia. Her dad's an asshole in the mafia. Is anyone shocked? No. Tristan, we get his point of view one time in the story and it's actually so heartbreaking. I was like, oh, I don't like this. This is so sad. But I loved the relationship. Their tension was incredible. I'm so excited to get to the rest of the series. Read this, Mafia Dark Romance. I think I would give this like a 4 to 4.5. I rate every book a 4 stars. I'm not even kidding, because I just love reading and I just love books. So I feel like I never don't have a good time reading a book. Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is a book that follows Done and Dusted. They're really fast reads, very quick. I think I gave this book a 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but I gave it the same rating as Done and Dusted. I'm not really attached to these characters. I do, however, think I am going to love the third book in the series because it follows 2 characters that I just love. This one felt very insta to me. There was some tension, there was some forbiddenness, being like, oh, we can't do this, but it felt very fast. Sometimes I'm into that and sometimes I'm not. In this book, I was not into it. I was like, why are you in love with her? You kissed her once. Don't we want a man like that? Don't we want a man who's like in love with you and kisses you once and he's like, I can hear the bells. Anyways, it was fun. It was very cute. I always recommend this to people who want cute, fun rom-coms. This one I have not talked about, and it needs to be discussed. This was a very highly anticipated read for me. Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Yes. Well, yes. Of course I loved it. Like, hello? And do I not love an Elsie Silver book? Especially a single dad. I ate this book up. I can confidently say this is a 4.75 to a 5-star rating. What was in this book? It was so addicting. When reading this, was giggling. Like, I was actually giggling. You know, the second book is about West, who in this story I was addicted to. I'm addicted to this young man. Do you guys know what that's from? Anyways, this book follows Ford Grant, who in Heartless is Willa's brother. Connection to Heartless, immediately obsessed. And Rosie is in kind of a pickle with her other relationship, and she ends up staying with her brother. And her and Ford were kind of friends when they were younger. Find out that he's low-key been in love with her his entire life. This has incredible banter. It has incredible tension, and him becoming a single dad. He donated his sperm at 19 for money, and then this 12-year-old knocks on his door and is like, I'm your child. And he's like, oh, oh, they actually did that. The kid adds a really funny aspect, but also a really heartwarming aspect where you see him start to open up to her and you see their relationship grow. It's also boss employee. It's like, you should offer me a job. And he's like, okay. And she goes, you're saying yes? And he goes, when have I ever said no to you? My jaw is on the freaking floor. I'm serious when I say this book is so good. Elsie Silver knows how to deliver. I don't think she's failed once in a book. Enough about that book. We know I ate that book up. It's so amazing. Like, I read Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate, which was the newest traditionally published release in the Salacious Players Club series. I really enjoyed that series. They're very just spicy books. They're really fun. This one was good, but definitely not my favorite. I think I rated it like a 3.5, 3.75. I really enjoyed the male main character more than I enjoyed the female main character in this story. I thought he was very much a sweetheart. Like, he was such a sweetheart. And I do think that the female main character really pushes boundaries a little bit sometimes. I did, however, like that we didn't ignore something. I liked that we sort of saw them grow without each other at a certain point. I did enjoy him a lot. Like, if we ignore the nickname, I won't say anything further. The next book I don't have physically. I read it on my Kindle because I heard so many people talk about this book and I was just like, I need to read it. It sounded so interesting and fascinating to me. It is Hawk by Jessie Hall. This book was a ride. This book was also really fun. It was super duper fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 3.75 or 4 stars. It's about an ex-convict. He ends up staying with this girl and her boyfriend. The relationship between the girl and the ex-convict. It's not a cheating trope where you're gonna hate it. I promise you, and listen to me when I say this, you are not going to care about the boyfriend. You're not gonna care that she's doing things with Hawk. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, go queen. The ending actually broke my heart, and that's why I really enjoyed it, because it really added some emotional depth. It really like made me sob learning the entire thing and how like pieces of the puzzle start fitting in together. The connection that she and Hawk made was so good because they were like really friendly. They were like friends. He did something for her that was like actually like so thoughtful that her boyfriend could never. She did annoy me though, because I was like, girl, just like solve the problem. But I understood because her boyfriend was like, a mutual on Instagram is the reason I read this book. And then Larry Reed started reading it and I was like, it's my sign. Next is the book I have been waiting to talk about. I have not said my feelings about this book. It is my most anticipated release of the year, Taming VII by Chloe Walsh. I have so many thoughts and I don't know what to say. We'll safely say it's not my favorite of the series. It had the potential to be a favorite. Definitely did not. Is this a 5-star, you might be wondering, because every book in the Boys Atonement series has been a 5-star. It definitely in the 4.5 to 5-star range. Number one, this book had far too much Lizzie and Huey. I do not care about Lizzie and Huey. I know I just talked about Hawk and how that has a cheating trope. I know. And I know it sounds hypocritical, but that one didn't make me mad. This one, however, makes me infuriated because my girl Katie doesn't deserve that. She is a sweetie pie. She does not deserve to be treated like this. Honestly, I am not a fan of Lizzie. Beach scene, she was apologizing. She felt so bad at the beach scene in Binding 13 or Keeping 13. I can't remember which one. She felt bad. She didn't know. So I was like, why does everyone hate Lizzie? Like, she actually like is so misunderstood. In this book, Chloe Walsh obliterated Lizzie. The things that she said in this book are completely unforgivable, and she has to make some drastic changes in order to fix things. She made me so upset to the point where I didn't want to read the book sometimes. The story is so like, check the trigger warnings. Stuff that happens in here is really intense. But when something came out about Gibbsy, literally see how it affected him, and her just diminishing it, the way that two of the boys just constantly excused Lizzie or was like, don't say that about her, don't say that about her. If that were me and my friend was saying that stuff to me or saying that to someone I really cared about, I would also be upset. I would also be so mad. I felt like the ending was just so abrupt. It did not give Claire and Gibbsy their flowers. Like, we did not get enough scenes of Claire and Gibbsy because they had so much history of being friends when they were younger and just having so much history together. I expected so much more from their scenes. I feel like we didn't get enough of them, and it's their own book. There could have been so much more for these characters. This book was incredibly sad because I'm so connected to the characters, and that's why I'm not too sure if I'm gonna give it a 5 stars, because if a book can make me feel this passionate about characters, and I know that's what Chloe Walsh was supposed to do, and to make us really feel passionately about these characters, really be emotional. So I'm like, the writing is good, and I'm connected to the characters for why I'm feeling like this. That's all I have to say. I feel like I just went on a 10-minute rant about this book. While they had a lot of cute moments that I really loved of them, I feel like they could have had more moments of them just being together. I was really excited to talk about that because I have not gotten those feelings out ever, like since I read that book. The last 3 books that I read this month are a part of a series. I am not going to talk too much about them. I'm not even gonna give star rankings. I did do a reading vlog for these books. The Madison Kate series by Tate James. First book is Hate. The second book is Liar, and the third book is Fake. Darker romance. I choose romance, so she ends up with 3 guys. She was like set up, comes back to the house with 3 guys. There's lots of secrets, there's lots of betrayal. This book leaves off on a cliffhanger, immediately jumped into this book. This book leaves off on a cliffhanger, immediately jumped into this book. This book leaves off on a cliffhanger, did not jump into the next book. Gave myself a little break because I know I'm gonna be upset when this series is done because I do love these characters. If you like I Choose and you like darker themes like gangs, you're gonna like this series. I feel like it's just really fun. I think that's the end. Those are all 11 books that I read in the month of April. I had a really good reading month. Those are all the books that I read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face and more of my videos. I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye!